Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 37th episode of Kouryer Podcast. Today, I'm joined with Mr. Kofi Ofosu. He's a concept artist, mostly focusing on character design from Ghana, Africa. Now, with that out of the way, could you please give us a little introduction on how you got into visual arts and design?
Well, I'd have to take you back to when I was a kid. Um, I've always loved to watch animations, read comic books, and I've always had a very active imagination. When I would read even novels, I would imagine worlds and the scenes in my mind. And all of these like media really inspired me, and I wanted to create like characters and tell stories about the worlds that they inhabit. So that was what really got me started into art. And I remember like I would draw with my friends in school, and we and from there on it kept going and going, and like people, my classmates would ask me, "What do I want to be in future?" And I would always tell them I want to be an artist in future, and now I'm here working as a
Awesome.
professional.
Nice. And were you originally studying art and design, or you were pursuing another career path?
Yeah. I never really took classes to. I mean, in school, in high school, there were some classes that were art related, but in terms of university, I never took an art class. A lot of the stuff that I learned or I know now as an artist is mainly through the internet. The internet has been a really huge resource in my growth as an artist, like YouTube, Gumroad tutorials, schoolism, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I never really took a major in art per se, but I
So,
yeah.
all right, sorry. Go on. You were going.
No.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
I was just going to say I never really took an arts major in college, but I
mhm.
in my free time I'll use these online resources to teach myself.
All right, awesome. So basically, in a sense, you from the get go, since you were a kid, you just focus on becoming an artist. You didn't like because the thing is, in most stories I hear from like different artists I have on the show, they because of the situation in life, they had to go to a route that wasn't art related but was more stable. In the beginning,
Hmm.
they once they got the stability, they went into art. So you from get go just push through for art. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and
But
all
but
right. Go on.
to add to what you just said, it
Mhm.
wasn't that smooth in the sense of like after college, when I was done with college, I've been working with my father since college. So like working to help manage his business, and then in my free time I pursue my freelance career. That has kind of given me that level of stability, because if I were to just jump directly into just doing art from the get-go, I wasn't really getting work. But it's over the years that I am starting to get consistent influx of work. So I think it's good to also have something financially stable that holds you down so that you can really pursue your passion for art.
Exactly. And what is your main branch of design that you're focusing on? And tell us about your experience from the start of it until now. Of course, in the introduction, I mentioned that you're focusing more on character design, but um, well, we want to hear it straight from you.
No problem. So I'll say in the beginning, I thought I was meant to be either a comic artist, that is a mangaka, or an animator, a 2D animator. But I started learning 2D animation back then, and I realized like even though I love it as an art form, like it was taking I don't have the patience at the time to like do all of these drawings frame by frame. So I quit that path, and then I also realized like drawing comics was very difficult for me because I don't really have a good grounding when it comes to like drawing backgrounds and environments. However, later on, I realized like there were actually people designing character designers, people designing like the main characters or cast of characters for our favorite shows and animated movies. And I thought, I love drawing people. I'll definitely love to create characters for the new shows that are coming up. And that was what branched me into character design. and that's what I've been mainly doing: character design, 2D character design for games and animation.
All right. And how does your design process usually go anytime you want to start working on a design project?
So basically, usually my design process is really like story driven. So I try to like find like a story. So like the story about a character that I can latch onto, and that would help me to design the character. Because it's like in designing a character, everything about the character must tell you a story about who he or she is, what they do, even their posture, their hairstyle, fashion, etc. So I always usually start with the story. Then I do like exploratory sketches to kind of explore different directions that the design can go in. And then once I find the design, I just tighten it up, put in the colors and final effect, and we're good to go.
All right. And actually, in this section, I wanted to talk a bit more about some of your artworks I've recently seen on your Instagram, like some of the processes I want to ask. And one of them that actually caught my eye was the I think it's if I'm not mistaken, a fan art of the Spider-Man movie, like from Miles Morales, I think.
Yeah, Miles Morales. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, could you
It's
explain the story behind this?
also basically for that one, right? I wanted to draw the Spider-Man in his original red suit, red and blue suit. But when I started the sketch and I kept drawing, I was like, I asked myself, would it'd be cool if Miles Morales was actually in the original red and blue Spider-Man
Mhm.
costume, and that was what ended up as that image with Miles Morales as the character donning the suit here.
All right, and actually, I wanted to talk about something that was pretty interesting to me, and I actually saw one of your posts on Squid Magazine, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to tell me a little bit about like the geek and art scene in basically Ghana, Africa, in general, West Africa. If you have any information, like how is it right now? Is it growing? What do you think will the future will be for it?
I honestly, I honestly think it's growing.
Mhm.
It's growing. Um, to In Ghana, we really don't have like a an entertainment art industry per se. Well, like we have the studios and the schools churning out the students, etc. But like there are young people coming up right now who are really interested in art, who are like equipping themselves with the skills and the knowledge by by getting information from the internet. And I feel like the future is really bright in terms of the talent and what we can do. I feel like in the next probably 20 to 30 years, like there'll be a lot of great content coming out of West Africa and even Africa as a whole. So, yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, that's gonna be really interesting to see because imagine like a generation of African artists born and because there's so many potential in just like the ancient or some of the cultural
historic.
arts and aspect of the African
Yeah,
fused with the digital art of as the young generation getting like inspiration and feel from that and just adding it to like the new stuff. I mean that's gonna be so interesting, I think.
definitely.
And and who are your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most?
That's a that's a very difficult question.
Yeah, I heard that a lot
Bec-
from my friends.
the reason why I say it's a very difficult question was like at the beginning, right? I would say like some of my major influences have been Masashi Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto. I really loved Naruto as a kid. It was like the gateway manga or anime that brought me into the anime culture and love of that kind of stuff. But over time, I I thought Kim Jong Il was my ultimate favorite. But right now, I realize like all of the artists out there inspire me. So everyone is basically my favorite. Like so far as you're an artist who is like great, and I can kind of learn something from you to add to my work, I feel like you're an inspiration to me. So like even the young artists, medium level, or everyone, I take
Mhm.
inspiration from everyone.
All right, awesome. And what is the main subject of your artworks, and what made them interesting to you?
I'll say right now, the main subject of my artwork is mainly to like tell stories through the characters. So like through the way they pose, their expressions, how they dress, and um, for us for this year, I want to like really get better at like storytelling. So not just drawing the characters in an on a white background, but like actually putting them in scenes, showing them in different worlds, interacting with other characters to really show more of a storytelling element in my imagery. So like that's why I feel like I'm going to be focusing more and more, telling stories through the characters.
All right. And what technologies and softwares do you mostly use for your works?
I use quite a number because I use my laptop and I also use my iPad Pro. So for the iPad Pro, definitely Procreate is a staple that I always use. And then for my laptop, I switch between Photoshop and Clip Studio Paint. The reason being, Clip Studio Paint I feel has like the best drawing experience when it comes to the desktop app, but I feel like Photoshop is a more complete uh, image editing software because there are certain features I use for when I'm doing post processing that I usually can only do with Photoshop at the moment.
Mm-hmm. All right. And well, I mean, right now there's a lot of schools of thoughts when it comes to like mindset, as you know, what kind of mindset an artist should have. And in your opinion, what do you think? What kind of particular mindset should one have in order to succeed in this field?
Well, that's a great question. So basically, for me, I feel like being an artist, for you to have a sustainable and a successful career, I feel like it all depends on your mindset. And like if you have a healthy mindset, it's going to take you a long way. And for me, what I've realized or observed is like there are certain things or ways in which like very good artists I follow, they think or their mindset. So I realize like they are very humble people. They never think like they are the best artists out there. They are
Mm-hmm.
eternal learners or they are eternal students. They are always learning new stuff, like picking up on new information. They don't settle when it comes to learning. And then finally, I realized like they are hard workers because like being an artist, it's a kind of occupation or craft where if you are not consistently practicing and putting in the hours, you become rusty. So like
Mm-hmm.
the very top artists, they are always consistently working at the craft and honing their skill. So I think like those are some of the things that if you keep in mind, like you are going to accelerate and be a successful creator.
All right, and I was wondering, just are you like I've seen a lot of your character design, and of course during this whole podcast you've mentioned a lot about your love for anime and Naruto and all that. So basically, if you could get a chance, like as like a choice, would you like if you could work in like a top animation studio or work in as a, for example, character designer in a top video game studio, which one would you more be inclined towards to?
That's a really difficult question, but but to give you an answer, okay, this is how I'll answer it. To be honest, I've gotten to the point where I am now thinking of myself more as a creator and as a studio than
Mhm.
just working for someone else. That's where right now my mind is.
Hmm.
So if I were to work for a big studio, that would definitely be my studio, which which is in the process of being created, Studio Co. But if it wasn't Studio Co, I'll definitely work for Sony Pictures Animation, because they did Into the Spider Verse, and I really
Hmm.
loved Miles Morales. I really loved how they treated the story, the character designs, and I'll definitely like to touch that property.
Yeah, that was an incredible work of art. To be honest, I really enjoyed it myself. The art direction and
Exactly.
everything, and the fun part was because there were like multiverse, different versions of a Spider-Man.
Hmm.
They all like that was such a good excuse to involve like different art forms, different art styles.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
exactly.
that was such a nifty, sneaky idea by them. And any advice and tips for a good portfolio and resume for artists?
Okay, so for me, right, usually when artists talk about portfolios, they talk about it as being something that is static. But I feel like right now, in the age of the internet, your portfolio is always morphing and growing and changing. The reason why I say this is that for me personally, I treat my social media pages as my portfolio, showing the width and breadth of what I can deliver on projects. So like so I feel like when you're posting online on your social media pages, it's basically your portfolio. Because like right now, most of the art directors and important people in the studios, they actually just go through your Instagram. They don't really always require a professional uh, page or like website. They just go through your Instagram, see what you provide, or your Twitter or what have you. And if they like it, they hire you right there and then. So like I feel like people should be able to realize, like, as they are posting out stuff, it is their portfolio. So like they should not be afraid to experiment and show the breadth of uh, expression or expressivity that they have, and just work on projects that they love, personal projects that they love. And if you like doing fan art, do fan art. If it steadies, like, go ahead, just do what you love, and eventually the people who like what you produce will come and hire you.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a really it's a really common advice, but it's so true because like yeah, I mean some people just get excited about art and they want to get into it. They'll, oh, I want to draw like I don't know Lowish or I don't know that artist or this artist, but they don't realize. I mean, yeah, it would be cool to be draw like that, but I mean, first of all, it's gonna take you a lot of time, and second of all, if it's not something you love, you're gonna suffer.
Exactly.
You're
That's
gonna
true.
suffer. You're gonna just be miserable. So it would be better to just, I guess, be yourself because there's always like a niche that needs what you're doing, So I mean, yeah, pretty much that's
Yeah,
it.
I definitely agree with what you said, because like I'll make 2 points. First, don't try to be like someone else, because everyone else is taken. Trying to be like a Loish. I mean, at the beginning of learning, you can copy other artists and learn from them, but eventually you have to get to the point where you learn more about who you are as an artist and draw from that, so that you become more authentic in your self-expression. And then number two, the point you made on loving it. It's very important. Like, sometimes it sounds very cheesy. People might think like, oh, it, me just loving what I do is not going to bring me the kind of work I want. I want to draw like the splash art artist from Riot or what have you. But the thing is that whatever you do, if you do it well, irregardless of what it is, people will see the passion coming through, and they will approach you to create that work for them. However, if you don't fully love it, as you said, you cannot sustain it for a long time. Because see, for me, what I'm doing, I enjoy it so much. In 50 years, I know I'll still be doing this. In 60 years, so like that's where you have to get to. Like, you really love it so much that you see yourself doing this in the next 80 years. That's what, like, the
Till the day you
viewers
die, you want to do that
exactly
work
too.
as long as you can.
Yeah, that's so true. So yeah,
All right.
that's what I wanted to add.
All right, awesome. And what are you working on right now that you can tell us about? What kind of project is it? Of course, I mean, if it's something that there's an NDA involved, I mean, you could just skip this question right now.
No
But if it's
problem.
not
No,
that, all right. But
no,
if
no.
that's not the
So,
case, all right.
I mentioned about like personal projects. So like I have a couple of personal projects that I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
So one is called Smash Kings, which is a volleyball IP. So it's basically following the journey of the main character. Her name is Ya, and she's she loves volleyball. It's following her through her struggles, her victories, the friends she makes along the journey, and yeah, like it's just showing the story of perseverance and how hard work can get you your goals. And also another project that I have, it's just an idea right now. It's called Before the Sunrise. So basically, for that, I'm thinking of making it like either a visual comic where there are no like text or speech bubbles, or like an animated short. And basically, the idea of that is about it's talking about a friendship that builds between two guys who are joggers, because it's based on my life. I love to jog early in the morning, so it's like showing them as they jog together. So one is an experienced jogger, the other isn't as fit, and like
Mm-hmm.
they they are racing each other day after day, and then like over time they build a friendship and they become friends, and yeah, it's like yeah, it's that's those are like two of the projects I'm working on currently right now.
Awesome. And all right, the next question is a fun one because I always get really interesting answers from guests. Um, I like to ask this phrase this question this way. Imagine right now we got a text and it says you had $1 million just got deposited into your bank account. I mean, what that means is you're gonna worry you're not gonna worry anymore about bills or anything, you know. So which means you're gonna have a lot of free time, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, sure.
Hmm.
Now the real question is, what would you do in that free time? With what skill you're possibly gonna learn, or it doesn't have to be like learning a skill. It could be anything. Right.
So one with that question, I would invest half of that money in real estate to develop like a passive income so that I still keep making money, and the other half, the $500,000, I would set up a studio and hire the best talent from my part of the world in Africa, and basically just tell the kind of stories that I want to tell, as well as the kind of stories that these other artists have to tell. Because like there are so many amazing artists on the continent who like have like the talent and they have amazing stories, and I'll definitely like to empower them to be able to tell their stories as well as tell mine. So basically that's, and also I'll definitely love to travel the world. Like despite the situation we are all in right now, if things are at that time, if things are good, like I'll definitely love to travel the world and see the world.
Mm. And let's say, all right, now all those aside, what kind of a skill or craft would you also learn in that free time that you have?
Definitely, I'll go into the culinary arts. That's like becoming a chef.
Mm-hmm.
I'll definitely learn languages. I love languages. I've
Mm-hmm.
been dabbling a bit with Japanese. I'll definitely go into learning languages. Another thing I'll learn is I love music, so I'll definitely like to train my voice. I'll get a music trainer to train my voice, and also I'd love to learn how to play the violin. So like those are a few of the things I'll definitely like to get into.
All right, interesting. And all right, I think I want to say something, but I forgot. But never mind.
That's fine.
Um, All right, now with everything that's been said and done in this episode, to conclude all we discussed, could you give us a
Hmm.
roadmap for someone who is zero in visual arts and wants to get to the place you are in terms of skill set when it comes to concept art and digital art and character design and all that? For someone who is zero, give us a roadmap, like step by step. What should they do?
So First, so basically, this is how I would approach it, right? So first, you find a community of artists who are on the same path as you. So it could be in a school, it could be an online community in Discord, people who are doing art. Because having a community or creating that kind of atmosphere around you will keep you going even during the times when you are feeling down or you want to give up. Because um, that's very important, having the right kind of people around you. Secondly, I'll definitely seek out like the best of the best in terms of the best artists in whichever field that I aspire to. So if it's environment, you seek out the best environmental artists, 2D animation, likewise, what have you. And then you study their work. So you look at, because when you look at great work, it kind of shows you, it elevates your work as well because you see where you're falling short and now you know how to make adjustments to elevate your work. And then also the next thing is that you always have to keep learning. Like you should never stop learning. I believe like the day you stop learning is the day you begin to decline and die out. So you must always keep updating yourself, even if it's the same old information, the same fundamentals. Like keep going over it, solidifying it in your mind. So that's the other part. You must master the fundamentals. So color, lighting, perspective, anatomy, gesture, all of those fundamentals. You must keep learning them. And there are books out there and video resources on YouTube, Gumroad tutorials that can help you master these fundamental principles. And then finally, you have to create like a daily routine. That's what I believe because art is kind of you get better by consistently doing it. You kind of have need to have a daily routine. So that's what I created for myself. So every morning, and it would vary depending on which field you are in. So for me, because I'm a character designer, every day I do gesture studies. I take every month I have a master that I'm studying. So I during the day I do a master study of one of their artworks so that I see how these masters or other artists approach art and I learn from them. And then also I create personal work. So I work on you must have a personal project that you are working on in your free time daily as well. And then finally, um, yeah, I take time to actually watch courses and read books and keep on learning and learning. And then also to succeed, another important thing is like you can have the skills, but if you don't have the right connections, you will not be exposed to the right opportunities. So networking is key. And luckily for us, we live in the social media age where every person is just a click away. You can talk to directors at DreamWorks, artists at Riot, whoever you want. So you must uh, find ways and means to network with other creatives, other professionals in the industry that you aspire to, and build actual relationships with them. Because usually, when it comes to networking, people come in like, oh, what can I get from you, or what can you do for me, rather than actually building a genuine relationship.
Hmm.
So when you build a genuine relationship, the people that you are relating to will want to help you when there's an opportunity. So you have to build genuine relationships. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what you said is really crucial information because people, when you tell them that you need to network, they're like, "Oh, I should go say slide into DM and ask, hey, wanna collab?" I shout at you, shout at me, some like that. And here's the thing: the only way people would understand the concept you're saying is as if they have this kind of growth mindset, which they're truly are just putting themselves as the student of the game and the craft.
Exactly.
And when that happens, you're going to find people who you actually admire, and when you try to approach them, even without thinking, your wordings and the way you talk and say is going to show that are you really, want to make it a relationship and learn a lot
Hmm.
or not. And like, I mean, what like, here's the thing. I mean, I'm a pretty small podcast at this point, but when like there's not a single guest that has come on this show that I wasn't not in like I've always been interested in every guest that came by their works, and I genuinely like message all of them to come on. And sometimes they say no, sometimes they say yes, and it's fine. But the truth is, I never like asked for like an artist because they had a high following or
Mm-hmm.
low following.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had guests who had like 80 followers and I didn't care, but they still loved their work. And I had
Exactly.
guests who had 90k followers, but they were still the same to me. But
Exactly.
when people who message you and you like it's obvious when they message you, they want like something out of it. They don't necessarily want to contribute or build a genuine relationship.
Very
But
true.
this stuff, in the end, what I'm trying to say, everyone, sorry if it's confusing. um, if you actually like drawing and love drawing, just be consistent, do what you love, and things will fall into place.
Exactly.
That's literally it.
Exactly. And even to give like practical ways and means by which for me I network with artists is like I genuinely want to see other artists win. So like if I find an artist whose work I really love, I'm going to share your work. I will DM you to directly tell you, hey, I love your work and it's amazing. I don't need anything from you. I'm just telling you I like your work. When you post, I share it. If like they have a Kickstarter that they are sharing, I go ahead, I share it, I put the link in my stories. And these are things that I do because for me it's in my nature. Like I seek to be a generous person. And by doing these little things, or like maybe they get featured in to do a Marvel Comics cover. Like
Hmm.
I hit them up. I'm like, congratulations, this is amazing. I'm happy for you, and I'm genuinely happy for them. And the people
Hmm.
realize like, oh, Kofi is not seeking for like a favor from me. He
Hmm.
genuinely wants to help me out, wants to see me win. So then once they realize that, then a friendship is built, and like I keep building from there, and I keep trying to be the one to give in the relationship, not always take. So yeah, that's those are some of the practical things I do. Share other people's stuff, interact with it, be genuine, give them genuine compliments when they do stuff that is amazing. Yeah.
All right, and I think that's about it. Thank you so much for coming by. And where can
Thank
people
you so
contact
much.
you if they had a question or in general want to contact you?
The best way to contact me is my Instagram page, Brakustar. So Brakustar is spelled BRAKU underscore STAR.
Yeah, I'll
That's
put that in the
Brakustar.
description.
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, you can DM me. You find my email address there as well. You can email me. Yeah, so you can reach me there.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. And
Thank you so
that's about
much.
it for this episode, everyone.
Yeah,
See you in the next episode. Thank you for everyone who's tuned in. Bye.
bye.